listeners. This is Raph streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. Tonight I have Neindorf with me. How you doing, Neindorf?
Doing good. Hello, listeners.
All right, it's been a minute since we've done an official podcast. We put out a commercial the other day, which was a lot of fun for us to create. I hope our listeners out there enjoy that. And it's a preview into our advanced pairing system or matching system that we'll get into a little bit later in the podcast. Well, right now, today is February 9th. It's a Wednesday. The new patch notes just released, and we are sitting at Joule at I'm watching the Joule tracker on Discord. Right now it's telling me the price of Joule compared to 1, and I'm hoping it's going to switch over as I'm caught up in the air at the moment. Anyways, it's around $9, and that's great news for me. I'm really excited to see it come back. Alright, so Neindorf, how about you give us the question of the day? Or do you want to talk about Joule first?
You lead the way.
I guess I don't have a lot to say beyond it's exciting for me to see the price come back up. Getting close a few times here to this $10 mark again. I remember back when we got into the game, last fall. I remember saying this is definitely a rug pull, and as soon as it gets to $10, I'm unloading everything I have and putting it back in the bank account. And so to see us, go to 20, back down. Gosh, where did it bottom out at? Do you recall? Do you
It
remember?
was about like 670,
Ooh,
680, I
that's
think.
rough. And then to see it come back to 10, it just is feeling like it's hitting some really healthy cycles. So that's great.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you mentioned that because when it was building up to 10 the first go around, I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe you and I did actually pull out a decent amount of garden cash to like US dollar coin and thinking like, wow, like we made it, like this is awesome, we made good money. And
We
then,
made
it kind of went back down.
$1,000. Yeah, it was
I think
great.
it wandered back down to like eight something, and we're like, yeah, we should get back in.
Yeah, we did not stay out for very long. That's true.
No, just couldn't resist.
Right. All right. So, what's our question of the day?
Yeah, so kind of related to what you mentioned earlier, we've had the hero matching tool on our site live for a while now. Um, have you found any good matches?
Heck yeah. Yeah, I having a lot of fun with it, and I guess I've been cheating a little bit in that you've given me access to your test version, which has a few more buttons, and we're about ready to roll those out here. I don't know, 24 or 48 hours, something like that. And I use this for summoning with the Gen Zeros. Although I got double Steve the Pirates. Actually, I got a
Ooh.
double Pirate, Steve the Pirate Gardener. That
Oh,
really
okay.
hurt. It's going off on a little bit of tangent here. It's kind of interesting. The rental prices still feel pretty high. I think the floor on renting is like 13, 14 Joule, and the floor for selling is around 80. A couple of weeks ago there was like this magical little spot where it felt like you were going to make 20 Joule every time you summoned, no matter what. And now that's kind of that gap has closed up a bit. So, which seems to happen every time that Joule increases in price. It feels like the price floor of heroes doesn't quite follow it at the same pace, or maybe the price floor of heroes, tongue twister there, is just kind of settling into a natural spot. I guess. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's kind of something I'd noticed too. And we've mentioned some of the deals that we maybe have done in the past, but I feel like when you get the price increasing in Jewel, naturally, newcomers have less Jewel they can purchase, and therefore people are having a harder time selling, so they have to lower their price. I mean, that all kind of makes sense.
Hmm.
It definitely did rebound when we were climbing back up from that 680 low mark. But like you said, I do think it lagged a little bit. And I'm sitting on quite a few heroes now, and I know we were talking with Walton a little bit offline, and he's down to almost an all-time low hero count, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of interesting. And then he kind of brought up that point that, now that prices climbing back up, hero prices are falling. So
Hmm.
he maybe was the sleeper here and dumped all his heroes when Jewel was low, but hero prices were relatively high. So that's something to kind of consider.
Yeah.
If you're bullish on Jewel long term, you might in a
Hold them.
downturn actually dish some heroes out and recoup
Hmm.
some Jewel.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I think, and I agree with it, and I missed. So I'm sitting on an
It,
all-time high right
yep,
now. I think
me
I have
too.
31 heroes. Um,
Wow.
and I
I
guess,
dropped a couple. I'm
yeah,
down to like 22 or something.
and I guess to tie it back to your strategy, I've been actually picking up some cheap Gen 1s now that the matching features out there, and I'm really going for, trying to optimize some skills, some classes, a combination of a few different things that I think we'll break down, and we'll deep dive this, in its own episode, probably how we are leveraging the tool to the maximum. Maybe after we have some of our own results, but I have a couple new pairs of heroes that, as soon as you get a new pair of heroes, if they're fresh, you can bang out 3 summons in about 24 hours. So um, that's kind of neat, and that definitely added to my hero stable. But um, looking to sell some of these guys and get back down to a more manageable number. So yes, I've definitely been using the new matching app. Thanks.
Yeah, and that kind of another. I'll take my own little tangent here real quick. I was chatting with somebody on Discord, and they were kind of surprised when I said that I actually wasn't getting a huge ton of profit from my turns with the Gen Zero, and they're real surprised. And I was like, well, if you're renting and you don't happen to get the right hero that you want, you end up selling them. You want to sell them relatively quickly to recoup your jewel. And I was saying, there's actually good money to be made just setting up alerts and like you were doing,
Hmm.
getting that cheap, pure Gen 1 with 10 to 10 left, you can find the right two that match, and then you can start summoning between. Then you get what, 5 chances to get a 5 of 5 advanced class. And I mean,
Yeah.
I think you only need, I say only, I guess, you only really need about, I would say, what, 250 jewel, and you can do that strategy with nothing.
Yeah.
And you can end up earning a lot if you roll nicely.
Yeah, it does feel like I love having those two fresh um, Gen 1s that are summoning at 19 jewel apiece. And with our Gen Zeros, I'm feeling a little jaded because their price is at 30 apiece plus whatever the rental fee is. Um, and so
Yep.
that 19 apiece, right off the bat,
16, I'm gonna jump in.
yeah, you're guaranteed to get ahead right off the bat with summoning there. Even if you get the worst Steve Pirate rolls of all time, and so
Yeah, absolutely.
it feels it feels like you're in a really good winnable spot. And you kind of mentioned this, getting down to 5 out of 10 summons. It's something we were texting about today, and I'm kind of wondering. I don't have anyone there yet, but do I hold these guys, or do I dump them at 5 of 10 summons and then just use that to try to recoup and go to the next pure 10 of 10. So,
Yeah,
anyways, that's something we've been kind of both working on, and again, big thanks to the matching tool. I think it's helping me find the, the heroes just before Valentine's Day here.
love it.
All right, so Discord. Real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to our amazing Discord community, and we're up to almost 150 people in Discord, which is crazy. I never expected a number like that, so pretty cool. We have some great discussions going on. People, whether you're a new investor, advanced investor, people coming in and really dropping nuggets of advice. Should I buy a hero? I only have $600 to throw into the game. What should I do? Um, and kind of the consensus from the group on that is, play it slow, play it safe, go into the bank or go into gardens. instead of getting your first hero right off the bat. And it's just kind of neat seeing that, we have a community, willing to help early entries out, or new entries out. And then we got some really advanced knowledge and some conversations going on. We have a guy that he's going for the first honest transcendent skill set. So I mean, that's a bit of a
That's
mouthful. Do you
awesome.
want to kind of give the explanation of what that means, Neindorf?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we've talked about in our previous episodes, those first, what was it, 19 Gen Zeros that the dev team kind of created for themselves. Again, this was accidental, as they've said, but their genes were actually stacked with high level, advanced, elite, or transcendent recessive skills and dominant skills. Wasn't supposed to be possible, just like none of the Gen Zeros summoned out were ninjas or dragoons, for example. Um, and so basically, a lot of that, their subsequent summons in Gen 1s, 2s, and all the way down the line have led to a point where all of the existing heroes that have a dominant transcendent skill or somewhat um, fruit from the poisoned branch, if you will.
Yeah.
And so now we've got people who've tried to build up from Gen 1s or maybe even Gen Zeros if you pair them right, from basics, build those all the way up to advanced, build those to elite, and then now we, like you said, we've got a user on our Discord who's trying to build that first transcendent, like literally from the ground up, and that's really cool.
And thank goodness he gave me the pronunciation of his name, otherwise I wouldn't have ever got it. So Eric's here is the pronunciation of his name. So good luck to you, sir. And we might even try to do a little bit of a um, well, we're not going to do live. That's a bit of a disaster with my computer at the moment. But we're going to do maybe a recording and get that on video, one of his summons, going for that. And, he was able to leverage the search and matching tool that we have developed. So if you're not using it yet, go ahead and check that out. Let us know. We are putting the matching tool, that is something that's available to our podcast subscribers, and that is over on Anchor. And one thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit, a few things that are almost kind of some housekeeping notes. One thing that we're thinking about out for the future is that we are likely going to move our payment system from Anchor, which is like a subsidiary of Spotify podcast system, and we're going to move that into our own website. It's just a little more smooth, a little more straightforward for us to do that. Has nothing to do with the Joe Rogan Spotify controversy. I don't know where you land on that. Not trying to get
That's
that, but
funny.
anyways, I digress. So, um, the fact of the matter is, we're just trying to streamline things a little more, and I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna try to do right by our listeners. We might even, give everyone a free month as we transition over to make sure people aren't getting charged twice, something like that. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up well in advance of this happening, so you know that what our plans are. And again, we're going to send some more notes out about this on Discord. I mean, we're talking probably what, 3 months away, Neindorf. Maybe
Yeah,
2 months away if we're lucky, but yeah, we're a ways away on that.
that's right. I'll have to do some investigation on what the best route is. Once you start dealing with finances, people, you want to make sure you get the right solution and something that people are
Oh
going to
yeah,
trust.
yeah. And then last thing that I had on Discord that I wanted to talk through is, I guess open applications for someone being, helping us out with moderation on Discord. It's not that we have a bunch of rowdy users, but I think we're realizing that we are not leveraging Discord to the fullest extent. There's a lot of cool things out there that you can do. I am a Discord novice. I think you're a Discord novice. We're trying to
Yep.
spend our time in, for me, developing things in Power BI. For you, obviously, developing the back end of the website and the apps there. So, open invitation. Go ahead, shoot us, drop us a DM. We'll probably pick one or two people. Um, I don't know, competition for this. Maybe give us your favorite quote from Jurassic Park, and
There you go. I
prove
love
to
it.
us that you're also you'd be a good Discord moderator. We're not only looking for someone. I mean, we're not looking for a babysitter. Actually, maybe moderator isn't the right word. Maybe closer to admin. Looking for someone to just help us step up our Discord game. Maybe add a few bots, something like that. All right, so next, let's go to gardening and release notes. Today's Wednesday. Release notes just came out. Um, I guess a bit lackluster, but the team's been really blowing it out of the water lately. Help walk us through, what was released tonight.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I think the first thing that I noticed was the ability to turn off the changing cursor. I just had to laugh. I was like, when that first came out the last time, I was like, no, you did not mess with the mouse pointer. I was like, oh no. So it's kind of funny. You can turn that off now. Um,
Yeah, as soon
and
as I
then
logged on my computer tonight, I'm like, tell me, where do I go for this? Tell me
yeah.
now.
Yes, yes. And then after that, they're starting to, it's some of this was these new features. I feel like they were speaking in riddles to make it kind of fun, which I appreciate. But they talked about, you're going to start seeing the runes or the stones that you can add during summoning to make changes. And they teased a chaos stone where you could get a random stat, things like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, the next big one that I noticed was if you go to the map, you go out to the full map, you can start to see the names of the towns and the
Mhm.
owners underneath them. So that's kind of cool. If you own that land, like your name is legitimately right there for everyone to see. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, so cool. I am hovering above some of the land right now, and it's really neat that they're adding these little features, and it makes you want to put a stake in the ground and take some claim of some land here. So, all right, well let's go on with some of the release notes. There was some changes to gardening as well.
Yeah, so finally, and I'm not sure if I feel like was this out already last Wednesday? I can't remember for sure.
I don't
But anyway,
think this one was. I think this just came the minimums for gardening and
I can't
jackpot.
recall anymore.
Anyway, who
There's
knows?
so many. See, I've never gotten a jackpot yet, so that I don't even know if that's released yet, to be honest with you. But I think the one that
Good
we're
point.
most concerned about here is the minimum gardening reward. And so your hero, if you're say you have a bunch of gardeners, right? You and you're forced in order to burn all their stamina on their profession, you were kind of forced to choose gardens that you didn't have any liquidity in. And so now you at least still get rewarded with, I want to say it's like it's a small fraction of a joule, like 0.002 joule per stamina. But again, still, something's better than nothing. And obviously, they can't put too much there because they don't want to drain their quest fund. So, I mean, I think they did a nice measured first step, and we'll see if they choose to increase that in the future. I would say.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I hope it comes paired with the gardening jackpot, or the equivalent of a
Hmm.
jackpot as well. But obviously, I haven't gotten one yet, or haven't noticed. And stamina, is it a bit of a wah wah? We're still waiting.
No doubt, yeah, yeah. It would be, and the feature that we're talking about is basically that we want to be able to, the devs that is, want to be able to have it so the heroes recuperate stamina after they have completed their quest, but before you have actually claimed it as complete by hitting that transaction. That way, like, you're not trying to wake up in the middle of the night and collect your 4 hour miners, because stuff like that's just not healthy. And I think they realize that, and they're planning on making that change. But I think you and I were hypothesizing offline that that's probably actually sort of complicated to get the logic right in the smart contracts. So I
Hmm.
bet that's probably why we didn't see that one yet.
Yeah, it's. I can imagine it's pretty difficult. But will be hella nice once we're able to do it. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. Any other comments of note that you want to go through?
Looking through this, the only other thing I thought was interesting, we weren't sure if it was a feature or a bug, where the mythic cards
Oh
appeared to
yeah,
have a black background.
I'm
Uh,
I'm
we were
actually pretty
split.
pissed off.
Where'd you fall?
I'm actually pretty pissed off. I thought the black and purple border looked great. I thought that was a new feature personally, and I loved it. I was like, "Hey, did you check this out? This is awesome. This looks so cool." And you're
I
like,
was like,
"What?
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
that's a
that's a bug.
glitch." Yeah. But
Uh,
yeah, that's I've already filed a complaint formally in as many avenues as I can to get that back. So I thought the border looked pretty awesome with the glitchy black border around the purple.
that's
Anyways,
right.
maybe send us a note in Discord or write in the general chat of Discord. Tell us what you think. Is that the black mythic border better or worse? So we'd love to find out. All right, well, let's transition over to our standard segment of Dev Dive. Give us an update. You've been hard at work in the lab here, working on new features for the website. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of a past, present, future for you here today. One of the last things I'd added, I think I might have touched on this briefly before, but for alerts, someone reached out to me on Discord and said, "Hey, it'd be nice to be able to filter based on level." And I was like, "You know what? That's a great idea." So we've added that, and that's been live for a while. I know people have been using it, and that really helps you, kind of filter out some of those basic entry level heroes that might trigger your alert and start to burn some of those 10 out of 10 for the day that you get. um, so then the present, like we've talked about, let's just the hero matching tool is live.
Hmm.
um, I also did actually, right before this podcast, I pushed the feature, so you should be able to now go in and see
Excellent.
um, filtering based on rentals or sale prices. So you can basically go into the matching tool and say, hey, I want to find my hero number is XYZ. I want to find at least two skills that could mutate with the main class. Oh, and by the way, I want to find rentals because I want to go find a summoning partner. And that's all out there now. So enjoy. Hopefully, if you guys find any features that you like in addition, let me know. Or if you find any bugs, let me know. Hopefully, you guys find that useful.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just bring this up right now for our
Oh
YouTube
yeah,
viewers.
absolutely.
Um, so I'm gonna punch in hero ID. Let's punch in 248, and this will actually bring us to one of our comments. 248 is our other Gen Zero that we were allowing our listeners for the contest to win the opportunity to summon with him at cost, and that winner has not showed up yet. So he has until Saturday. We'll call it Saturday morning, maybe Friday night, to respond back and email. I've emailed them a couple times. I'll probably do it once more after the podcast here. But we are going to re-roll on King Sumo sometime Saturday, and then re-announce that maybe on Saturday night's podcast, and just let our team know, hey, we got this going on, and we really want to give this away. So. We want that for it's a again, this was a milestone reward that we wanted out there for our listeners and our community. We think it's a really cool opportunity. It was awesome that C9N, the first winner, this was the first hero that he had summoned with. So getting that Gen 1 was a pretty cool opportunity. Couldn't pick a better first person to win this, and so we really want to re-roll, give this to another community member out there. If you're not out there and not checking your email, probably means you entered too many emails into the contest to begin with. Um,
Uh,
okay, so jumping back to the web page here, punching in 248. I am clicking in the sale rental status. You have the radio buttons there now. That's great. I'm going to go ahead and select two skills to mutate. I'm going to click only main class that mutates, and I'm going to put max generation as 0 and minimum level as 1. I'm actually going to uncheck gardening because I'm sick and tired of getting pirate partners right now. So I'm going to click view. This is going to load, and kind of real time here. And this is querying the blockchain real time. Is that right?
so for this one, I'm actually using API v6 because it's much it already has a summation of the data. So, I like to use the blockchain if possible, but what I would say is there are some times when the data is already in the right format, and that's the time when I'll use API v6 instead. So for this particular tool, it does a series of queries, and then that's another thing to keep in mind. As you lower that number of minimum skills, there's more permutations, and that's more
Mhm.
subsequent queries I have to stitch together. And so that's why sometimes this tool can take a little while to run.
Yeah,
So
I actually just I ran it once, nothing showed up. I was worried something glitched. Ran
yep.
it again, and then I realized I need to drop the number of skills. So I went from 2 down to 1, and I now have 3, or no, excuse me, 4 Gen Zeros that are showing up to rent. Now, these rental prices are astronomical right now, and this is what I ran into and was kind of complaining about a little bit earlier. But we have a rare rental price of 50. A couple of these, like, what are these guys saying? There's a legendary here for 35.
Wow.
So those are some pretty steep hero prices. If you're renting 30, 30, 60, 50, that's 110. You got to get a really good roll. You need to be getting a rare, right? To break
Yeah, you're
even
right.
on that.
To even make your money back, yeah, you got to be getting a rare, and that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier, where you know the the Gen Zero value as far as from a summoning aspect goes is great, but with the prices where they're at now, where you can get steals for Gen One 10 of 10. So listeners, don't be afraid if you don't have a Gen Zero out there, you're not out of the water here. You can definitely still find the hero you need and be very profitable. Use this tool, use the alerts, and they'll help you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we were able to. Let me jump back to our show notes and make sure we're not
Oh yes,
jumping out on
the
anything.
future dev dive.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
one
So
more point I
we,
got to
we
get to.
yeah, continue on the future. Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, past, present, future here now. So I did tease this a little while back in the Discord. I dropped a picture in. You and I had been floating this idea. Well, let's how are we going to get prepared for combat coming up in the future? And I'd had this idea of a chart in my mind I'd seen before, and neither of us could not remember what it was. I'm like, it kind of looks like a spider web, and the points kind of go out at an angle towards the different stats. I think it took us about 5 or 10 minutes of Google searching, and we finally found out it's called a radar chart. Um, and so yeah, I had teased that, and it's basically what I'm working on now is you can basically say, I want to select hero numbers A, hero B, and hero C, because that's our best assumption right now is that a squad's going to be 3 heroes when it moves into combat. And maybe I'll make it selectable, or we'll keep the site updated as we learn more about the game. But basically, it'll take those 3 heroes and it'll put them in a circular fashion, um, where all the 8 stats are in a circle around it, and it basically blows outward where your stats live, and it stacks on top of each other.